Hello everyone, happy Monday. What is up? I know this is like a surprise live today. I wanted to make sure I got it in before the Love is Blind reunion replay is dropped at 3 Eastern. So I made sure to get this in just in time so that we can all watch the reunion replay. If you did miss it last night, I didn't even stay up last night. I am a very early to bed girly. I love to just be in my warm bed, like reading and stuff. So I didn't try, but then when I heard about all the delays, I was like, thank goodness I didn't even try to watch it. Hi guys, I see you popping on. Today we are going to have fun because we're talking about something totally different. We are talking about creating a side hustle, honestly, as a hairstylist. And just gonna say up front, no shade to MLM type businesses, but this is not about that at all. So if you were worried it was, hopefully you are a little relieved, and then, whatever. But we are just going to talk about how to create multiple income streams in your business. And specifically, as we go through this, you're going to see how there are going to be some more long-term side hustles that are going to take time to build. But really what I'm going to share with you, so I'm going to share some of the myths that block us from starting a side hustle or that, make us think maybe we can't do it. And then I'm going to share 5 side hustles that you could start, quite honestly, this week and start signing your first clients and everything like that. So I hope you guys will love this. I don't know how many of you know, but this business, Wolf and Rabbit, started as a little side hustle, and I got into all of this by accident. I was actually approached time and time again. When I was behind the chair, I had a blog that I was writing for my clients because blogging was cool back then. And so I had a blog I wrote. It was just for my clients. I just wanted them to have access to good information, and salon owners saw that, brands saw that, and I started getting approached to write for them. And then I started getting approached to do social media for them, then do marketing, and on and on. And so that's really how my entire business, that now is a full-time salary, it is a full-time thing that I work on, that's how that all came to life. And I can't even say I had that as a vision back then because I just loved doing hair, and then I loved having some extra cash coming in. I thought that was super fun. And honestly, sometimes I'm like, man, I had it so good when I was behind the chair and had a side hustle. Why did I ever want to let one of them go? But anyway, I say all of that just to let you know that I've been through this where you want to use all of your skills to your benefit. And some of us just love doing multiple things, right? And I don't think there's any shade to that. Some people love to be all in on one thing, all eggs in one basket. And then some of us, we like to have multiple things going on. It's good for our brain, or it's just how we think. So if you're somebody who has thought about starting a side hustle, has been interested in starting a side hustle, but you just keep dragging your feet, hopefully today you'll walk away with feeling inspired, feeling empowered to take kind of those next steps to just get it off the ground. Because I will tell you, it is so much easier than you even think. It is so easy. It's going to blow your mind. So I did run a poll this morning talking about how I was going to do this, and it got the highest participation other than laughing at me with some silly antics I'm doing, but it got some of the highest participation where everybody said yes, it was something that they were thinking about. So I'm really happy to come to the table as always with topics that inspire you guys and that you're looking for. Okay, so let's dive into this. So first, I want to start out with some of the myths, what gets in our way? What makes us second guess ourselves? What makes us not even want to get started? And so here are 3 of them. I share all 5 of these myths in my 44 side hustles for hairstylists, which I'm going to tell you how to get access to that at the end of this training. But here are 3 of the 5, okay? So myth number 1 about starting a side hustle is that you need a website, right? I've already built up everything for my business behind the chair. So what? Now I'm gonna need to Google my business. I'm gonna need a website. I'm gonna need an Instagram. I'm gonna have to write content for a whole other thing. No, y'all, you don't have to do any of that, okay? You don't need a website. You don't need a social, you don't need to be doing kind of the traditional marketing that we're doing as hairstylists for your side hustle, okay? A lot of it is going to be depending on your network. It's going to be about utilizing sites that can connect you to people for opportunities. So it is a totally different thing. So any of that stress and pressure that you feel when you think about starting a side hustle, I hope that that's already easing off of you. The tension is coming off of you. Okay, so the next myth about starting a side hustle is that, again, you're going to need professional photos. You're even going to need a professional portfolio, right? You're going to have to spend all of this time building something and putting it together. Nope, don't have to do that, okay? Don't need a website. Don't need professional photos. Don't have to have a portfolio. And then the third myth, and like I said, there are 5 total. I share them all in my 44 side hustles for hairstylists. But the third one is that you need to be a total expert to get started, okay? That's the other myth that really holds us back. It's well, I don't know everything. I don't know everything about that, so I can't offer that to someone, right? I don't know everything about helping someone with their website updates, so I'm not going to say yes to that, or I'm not going to offer that to someone. Remember, even with doing hair, how many different tiers of skill are there out there? Yes, if you are getting your very first side hustle client and it's the first time you've really done this, you're probably going to do an intro rate, right? You're probably going to price yourself that way. So I want you guys to understand you don't need to be here in order to get started. You can get started where you're at, okay? I'm going to show you guys exactly where you can get your first clients and then some of those ideas. So what could you possibly do with all of your skills that you have now? So what I love to think about is that it's we always know that we do more than hair, right? We are connectors. We're connecting with people 24/7. We are administrators. We are we're doing inventory. We're literally cleaning up all the time. We're doing our own bookkeeping. We're doing our accounting. We're, running our website and our social media accounts, and we're managing all of this stuff. And so I want you to know that you have so many skills that you are an expert at that can transfer into becoming something else, right? Or using them to help someone else. So here are just a few examples. Like I said in the beginning, what happened for me is I was writing a blog. And so different larger companies were like, hey, we need someone to write articles for us. We need somebody to write profiles for us. Is that something you can do? It's yes. And I made, at first it was $150 per article that I would write. And so, sometimes if I was wanting to do a ton, I would do a ton. Sometimes I was just doing 1 a week, 2 a month, and I would just get my checks and cash them in. And it was just something fun that I really enjoyed. So my intro into side hustling and kind of having a business outside of behind the chair was writing. Can I write your blogs? Can I write bios on your team? Can I do stuff like that? So it could be, I want you to think bigger than the first side hustle you could do, which is probably the one thing that always pops into your head when you think about it, which is becoming an educator, right? Becoming an educator is, I would say, the most obvious, but becoming an educator, I want you guys to understand, is a long-term side hustle. So that could take time, where you are going to need to build credibility. You are going to need to go through some of those other steps in the beginning that we talked about, where it's you don't need that, you don't need that. When you are trying to become an established, sought-after educator in our industry, that is more like launching a whole second business, right? If you want to, though, teach a class to your peers in your city, that could be different. If you want to mentor new stylists at a local cosmetology school, that could be different. But anyway, so becoming an educator and literally teaching hair could be one of your first steps into this. But the other 4 are pretty much outside of our industry in terms of becoming a virtual assistant, I think, is one of the best ones that you could pivot into, because everybody needs the services that a virtual assistant offers. So what a virtual assistant does is a ton of different things, but essentially it's what you're doing all the time. And this might be the stuff that you hate, so you're like, hell no. But that is posting on social media for somebody, making their website updates. Maybe you're checking their email for them, making sure all of their different like admin stuff is really neat and tidy. And I can tell you that other hairstylists even value those personal or those virtual assistant abilities. So not only can you still look inside of the industry, but you can absolutely look at everywhere in your city and nationally and everything like that. Okay, so virtual assistant. Another one is life coaching. So when we think about life coaching, I want you guys to understand that that's like extremely different from a therapist or a psychologist. Life coaching is something where you get a certificate. It is fairly like easy to acquire. And then you can just start building up a clientele, creating a process for your clients, and then going through that. So life coaching is more like, I feel like what we would consider we're close to when we're having that behind the chair relationship with our guests, right? And walking them through and listening to a lot of the things that they're going through. So again, very different from like a licensed therapist or a psychologist, but still a valid thing that a lot of people benefit from. So you could also venture into mentoring new stylists. So this is even great if you're newer in the industry. So a lot of times, like I was saying in the beginning, one of the myths and one of the things that holds us back from starting a side hustle is that we think we have to be an expert, right? I even see it in some of the groups these days that are like, oh, everyone's an educator, and they like talk shit about it. But you guys, the point is that if you're ahead of somebody who's just starting, you have something to bring to the table. Now, you're not going to pretend you know everything, but you can at least help them understand what their first year behind the chair is going to be like, what their first 2 years are going to be like, what are their goals, how can you help them stay focused and motivated. That is something that is still super valuable that you could do even if you've only been in the industry a couple of years. So mentoring is a huge thing. And then the last one that I love for industry is going to be style sessions, okay? Now, when I say style, you might think hairstyling. Not what I mean. I mean like literally like a fashion stylist. We naturally have amazing fashion in our industry. We're plugged into the trends. We're plugged into everything that's going on. And so we can really help people choose the right colors, modernize their wardrobe, right? So they might, we know our clients who are a little bit older, who have maybe lost their zhuzh when it comes to their dressing, and it's like offering those styling sessions where we can put together boards for them of what to shop. We could even do the shopping for them and send them the link so that they can check out. We can put together these kinds of things, and that's something that you could do by Friday, right? The virtual assistant is another one you could do by Friday. It's like, okay, I know I made the website, or I made my Google My Business for my salon. I've been updating it for my salon. Now I can tell people, hey, I can help you set up your Squarespace website, for example. I can help you set up your Google My Business page. I can help you set up your business Facebook, your business Instagram. And this is something really valuable because, again, not everybody is ready to charge for the uber professional $3,000 package. So when you're coming in as a virtual assistant, with a lot of great experience, but at new virtual assistant prices, that is so exciting. Like, so many people can really see the value in that and work with you as your first client so that you are getting more experience. So all you really need to get started, once you kind of decide what avenue you want to be going down, all you need to get started is to really finalize exactly what you're going to offer, right? So it's like, I create your Instagram page, I write your bio, and I put out your first 12 posts. And that's me kind of like setting up your business Instagram, okay? Hi, Yuri. So happy to see you here. So let's say that you were like, I'm going to offer this now as my side hustle. So you would figure out exactly what that is. You would figure out pricing for that, and then you literally just go get your first client, whether you're using sites like Fiverr or Upwork, or you're simply going into Facebook groups and telling people you do this, posting on your own Facebook. This is how you literally just get going. And the most important thing to understand, especially with, you know, as you guys know, with running a business behind the chair, is it's just really about solving people's problems. So if you have a lot of people in your network who you notice are struggling with the same thing, get creative. How can you solve that? Again, a lot of how my company got started is somebody needed something, right? They're like, oh, I need Google Ads, but I can't find like a good, affordable Google Ads person. This is so frustrating. And it's like, well, I could do that, you know? And it's just stepping up to the plate and saying yes, and then going in and trying to kill it and do a great job. So I think that if you can just stay open to first writing out all of the different skills that you use on a daily basis, all of the different things that are included in what you're doing beyond hair. Although, like I said, teaching hair would also be cool. Different. You're still going to need to figure out exactly what am I teaching and get that going. But we all start somewhere, right? We don't need to be here to just get started, to just get that first client, get our feet wet and say, okay, here's how I'm going to do it next time or whatever. So the biggest things to put together to get started, you're going to want to know what you're going to do. So you're going to pick your side hustle. You're going to outline your offer, right? What's included. You're going to set your price, and then you're just going to go and get your first client. And really, it's that simple. It's something that you could figure out completely in a day and start doing the next day. So if you guys want to know more about what this looks like, if you want to know more about my story, if you want to know, I put together 44 side hustles for hairstylists. So these, in my opinion, are the fastest, easiest side hustles that you could get started on right away. I also show you how to figure out your pricing, right? It's like, well, what would I charge for that? What would I do? You know, how do I just figure that out? So I teach you how to do pricing, and then I give you 15 places where you can actually get your very first client. Okay, so if you want access to that, it is going to be at Ren Lopa Official in my Instagram bio, and you can check that out. And then for my podcast listeners, you're going to find that right down below in the description, and you can go ahead and check that out. You'll get instant access, and I can say that a couple people have that purchased it. I feel like it was like in November, they literally started businesses. Okay, so it's something that not only works, but it's like extremely practical. And if you are somebody who just likes having different things going on, you like to stay busy or whatever, use different parts of your brain. You know, so much of what we do is like tactical and like this certain part of our brain. It might be fun to work on something else in your downtime, and why not? Especially if you're somebody who, you know, wants or needs that extra money coming in, it's a great thing to do. I will say that, as you'll learn in the program 44 Side Hustles for Hairstylists, the number one thing I recommend though is you're using your behind the chair income to fund your side hustle, right? So it's so important that like you have space for both, and you don't use your space where you would be marketing your behind the chair business for the side hustle. Like, you have to be good at keeping them separate so that your behind the chair business doesn't sink while this one's growing, right? Because the point is for this to be high and this to be high, and both streams of income to be like raining on your head or whatever. So thank you all for coming and checking this out. please jump into my DMs and let me know if you have any questions. You can even run different ideas by me. Ask me more about my entire journey with doing all of that. But I hope that you guys feel inspired and have some great next steps. Again, you can grab 44 side hustles for hairstylists at the link in my bio. And I will see you all on Thursday coming up. So have a great rest of your day and enjoy the Love is Blind reunion replay dropping, I feel like right now. All right, bye guys.